Welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda, and today I'm going to play with the Color Stories Inspiration, or the CSI community. And there is a file number for 460, which is this beach scene. And Color Stories Inspiration, or CSI, gives a whole bunch of other prompts too. So I'm going to use some of these prompts. I'm going to use the color guide, and then I am using my Counterfeit Kit Challenge, which inspiration was Farmhouse Summer, and I actually have some of that in today's kit. That is a picture of me and my oldest a long time ago, and so I have some of the scraps that I have from using my kit when I first got it a while ago. So I had that frame piece that I made and some of these offcuts that were used on a different layout, not for this month. And I thought I'd just throw them in my kit because why not? I pulled out this Jen Hadfield, the Avenue collection for those flowers, which I've been using. The cork hearts and those sticker hearts, I think, are both from Studio Calico. And one of the prompts on the list was to do some embossing. So I'm going to use this friendship bouquet from Close to My Heart. I'm going to use the big flower and the smaller one, I guess. And I'm going to emboss around the edge of the black cardstock. So this is going to be my border around the outside. And so I'm just going to get this set up. And so I'm going to put this in the corner because I want to do a frame around it. So I thought I'd try and use the sticky grip that I have in here, but it's making it too much. So I'm just going to go straight on with my stamping platform. I love this thing. I wish it was bigger, and then I'm using the Distress Ink embossing ink. You saw me use my little, I think it's Stampin' Up, I'm not sure, it could be someone else, anti-static tool. And then this is just really old black embossing powder. And I thought black on black would be subtle enough that it would, but there would be enough there to give something to that background. So, and then you see me use my glitter tray, which, oh, I love this thing. So all of that embossing powder is going to be all I need to do the whole thing. So you saw me close my jar up right away, which is perfect because, yeah, I don't make a mess, or not as much of a mess, so I don't waste as much. And yay, look at how pretty this is. And the magic, I'm going to do it 2 more times. There we go. And then I'm going to move my stamp, and then I'm going to continue what I was doing. So literally putting it on and then just rotating my page. So this gives you that like circular without being a circle. So I'm going to ink twice. I haven't done this too much with this ink pad. The Tim Holtz embossing ink is a little new to me, but it's what they had. A lot of times I've used the VersaFine, but my VersaFine went all funny and gummy and gunky and ugh. So you would have seen that if you watched some of my videos in about a couple months ago, and so I replaced it with this one, and it's working fine. This one, I didn't get to it fast enough for the ink being wet, and it didn't do a couple of the petals as nicely, so I did the other 2 and then I came back. And that's the best thing about the stamping platform, is I can realign this with no trouble at all. And look at that, pretty done. And then I have that one space that I have to fill in, but this is probably going to be too big, so I'm just going to double check. Yeah, too big, which is fine. So I'm going to use this smaller one that fits in nicely. So I'm going to get it set up for where I want it on this one. And then again, I just rotate it around the 4 because it makes it super easy that way. I'm also using that push tool to help me get a good impression. I just got that off of Amazon. I'm sure there's lots of different places. I would have gotten one from our local scrapbooking store, but they didn't have anything like that when I wanted it and was thinking about it. So just gonna take my wet wipe and cleaned off that one other stamp. I wiped down all the anti-static stuff off of my page because it leaves a little bit of a white residue sometimes. And then I'm going to use the same wet wipe, and after I put all of that embossing powder away, I just wipe it out. And now that's ready to use for next time. Put these all away because I already wiped those down, and it's ready for next time. Yay, that cleanup's done. So I bring this back in, and so this is what I was kind of thinking. When I first looked at this piece and the inspiration colors for the prompt, I was going to use the other side, and then I was thinking that it'd be too bright for the other side, but I also knew I wanted to do the embossing, and so I was like, yeah, okay, this is this big. Okay, it'll sit about there. That's fine. Hey, actually, I can use this. I thought it was going to be too bright when I first thought about it. And then I'm like, nope, I like this. And the colors work better. There was no green in the actual inspiration. So I was like, nope, this works. That goldy color is in there. It's kind of the color of sand. And then this background piece is also from my kit. It's from a paper pad. I'm not sure what the paper pad was called anymore, but it was pretty. And I decided to use this. It looks kind of like woven material, but it kind of reminds me of sand too. So I'm going to use that as the inside bit. And I think that's pretty cute. And then I'm like, hey, I did all that work with my embossing. I'm going to cut the middle out. So I'm going to cut this at 10 and 2. And I was having trouble seeing the guidelines. So I just put this piece of pattern paper to help me see because I couldn't see the 10 and the 2. And then cut, move it out of the way, move this out of the way, move this back, 10 and 2, line it up, done, and then I moved it the other way, which is funny, but this I'm going to cut, and then do the same thing, and now I can see it a little bit better because of where my line is. And then one last time, and then that piece, for the inside piece, I can use for something else later. And then this is going to go on like so, and I like that now. Add a little bit of washi to the back. I was going to do more than the one side, but that is all used up. Yay! And my photo back. And then I'm going to use this piece of plaid. And it has a lot of the inspiration colors in it, as well as a little bit of green. But that golden color is what I was really going for. And then I was thinking this one overlapping up top here, but on the frame bit and the little golden flowers are the same. So I wanted a little bit of separation, but I didn't want it in the center of that plaid piece. So I'm thinking this one will go just down and this will overlap with the blue plaid. And is that a lot of plaid? It totally is. But am I happy with it? It is totally going to be what I do. So, and then pulling out some of those pieces in the similar colors that are in that pattern paper strip. So the orange and that peachy color work really well. I thought about that blue one for a second, but there's this orangey peachy colors too. And it ties in nicely. Then I'm going to pull these blue flowers because they tie nicely to the inspiration colors. And this one ties into the inspiration colors too well. And so just kind of placing things out. I'm thinking of using either color of those hearts because why not? I'm going to get this on. I'm lining it up with the bottom of that frame so I don't have to measure. Yay! And this on. Slice a little bit of that off because I want this to be kind of I want it to be a shelf that I can put my embellishments on. So it kind of looks almost like a window. I don't know. Maybe you don't see the window. That's what I'm thinking right now. And then I put my photo on and I have to readjust it 3 times. So wasn't quite center, and then I get it on and it just doesn't look quite right still. I'm like, it's not right. So one more time, third time's the charm, get it on, perfect. And then I'm going to put these pieces back on. Both of the big flowers are going to be put up on foam adhesive. When I was scrolling through Facebook today, I can't remember who it was for which group I'm part of, but one of the groups was like, would you rather have your foam adhesive or your ruler? Like, which one could you do without? Neither. I use both in most of my layouts. I can go without either, but that would be so hard. So hard. So, I don't know. So these are going back, but not quite in the same spot as I had them, and that's okay. I put them down as a first draft kind of thing, and then go, nope, I like this better. But I have stuff already picked out, and that works good. And then some of these pieces I'm just gluing on, just because I thought it would be easier. And my glue is out, and yeah. And then these rusty ones, and that didn't get glued, so now it is. And these ones should have all gotten glued to start with too, but they didn't. I did put one of those burgundy ones on to start with, and then I decided, no, I'm just going to stick with these orangey, burnt orange, rusty color, because they match those little flowers in the frame background. So, and then the two cork hearts, which I thought were pretty cute. And so this also fits with the prompt, not because it's a beach scene, but because of the waterfall in the background. And this is a summer activity. Where we are, there are not very many beaches. So I don't have beach pictures really to scrapbook. I might have one or two, but those I have to print. So I think. So I have two of those rest ones left, and I'm like, I am going to get them on here, but I want to put my title on first. And then I remembered I fussy cut these butterflies out before I started to put on, but there's nowhere for them anymore, and that's okay. They'll go on a different one. And so I'm going to use these Happy Planner stickers. They're clear, and they've got like a drop shadow to them. And then I just pushed ahead to having it all on because I put it out on my ruler, and then they weren't going to move off my ruler very well, probably because they're little. So then I had to use my tweezers to put them all on. And then I do have this spot open here, so I'm going to slide this this heart over top of the leaf with the foamy piece. And then I'm going to get these other two on here underneath both of the cork hearts. And then my picture, this one that I'm putting on right now, isn't there, and I have to go find it. So it is there now, but in the pictures it won't be, because it was one of the ones that I went to glue and it didn't come out very easily. So I was like, oh, maybe it's okay. So, yay. And then here are some close up of my layout, and it's a wrap on this page. There'll be still shots to follow. If you loved how this came together today, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share some crafty love in the comments. Blogs and links for Counterfeit Kit Club and Color Story Inspiration are shared in the description box below. Yeah, oh, they're so cute. I'm so happy with how this one turned out. And yay. There it is, all done. You can see that one is missing, but that's okay. And then until next time, stay inspired, scrappy, and full of ideas. Thanks for being here today. Have a great day.